Using our universal commander sculptures, our gold heads, to invest in commanders is the most important decision we'll make playing the game of Rise of Kingdoms and advancing our accounts. And this is going to be the video that's going to talk about this, because I'm going to lay out a roadmap for everybody. I'm going to go through the history of what we've seen, because it's very distinct. We go through a whole cycle of next-gen commanders, and they're generally like single target damage commanders for all three troop types, then AOE commanders. And it's really synonymous with what we express that you need to must max these guys. They're meta, you got to get them. And what we tell you can skip. We'll go through all of that, because there's been plenty of commanders I've said, hey, you can skip this guy or this gal. And we can go through all that, because we just now are about to start in a whole next generation of commanders with the cavalry that's coming later this summer. So let's prep you for that, because it's not just cavalry, guys. It's going to be infantry and it's going to be archers. And we're going to go through what to expect, what we've seen, what to max, what to not max, how to save your gold heads. This is the video that's going to go through it all. Hey everybody, I'm your boy War Daddy Chatsky. I do videos for Rise of Kingdoms all the time. Love doing these kind of videos, and if you would be so kind, throw a like on here. And if you haven't subscribed, consider doing so. Doesn't cost you anything. And I just finished up my April and May giveaways for our video contest, where I gave a $10 flux every single video, over 50 videos, for people putting down comments. I would choose a random comment. It was a lot of fun. We might come back to that and do it again, but that whole event has now ended. I still want you to put comments down in the comment section. You guys know me. I love getting down there and talking with you. Well, listen, here's our new guy, Alp Arslan, or as I affectionately like to call him, AA Ron. And he is the next gen Archer commander. And so we are getting ready to wrap up this generation. All right. When we talk about next gen, you get a generation of each troop type. And I'm going to go through all these things with you, because we've got to lay out a roadmap for how we're going to do this and what we're going to see in the future. Okay. First of all, what you see is that you generally have a generation of all three troop types that are single target damage commanders. Okay? Single target damage commanders. Then you have a generation of AOE commanders. Okay? And so when you have this, you got to expect what's coming. And we can go through what's happened in the past, and we can project what's going to happen in the future. And the first thing I will start with, now this was kind of a while ago, but this started, I couldn't remember if this was Gen 9 or Gen 10. But we're going to come back here, because cavalry always starts the next generation of the cycles. And we got Belisarius Prime, okay? For the most part, he was a skippable commander when he first came into the game. It was literally before I was even doing content creation. I liked him a lot, but I'm a Cav player. And he was not a must-max commander by any means. If you didn't max this guy, you were fine. All right, now if you swarm stuff and you swarm flags and you do all that stuff, you obviously have him maxed, because he's amazing at that. But he came out in May of 2024, and he started a generation that started the single target generation. After him, we got a guy named William Wallace. Okay, what happened with William Wallace? Well, he was another single target commander for infantry. So into Cavs, infantry, archers. That's how it is. Cavs, infantry, archers, Cavs, infantry, archers. So we get the infantry, and he's single target. And honestly, for the most part, he was what? He was skippable. You didn't necessarily have to have this guy. He came out in July of 2024 after Belisarius. After him, what's next? Archers. Shajar came out. Single target with some weird healing effects and all the stuff that she does. But by and large, she was a skippable commander. There's still so many players that don't even have her. So many players that don't even have William Wallace, and a ton of players. I mean, a ton that don't even have Belisarius. That was that generation. It was a single target damage generation, and Shajar wrapped it up. She came out in the fall of 2024, okay? Then we went through the kind of the leadership siege cycle, but then it started back over with cavalry. Well, since we got single target for cavalry, infantry, and archers, what did we get in the next generation? We got this guy. AOE ass kicker. Let's go. Okay, must-max commander. Arthur, fantastic. Gonna be great. Gonna have synergies with all kinds of people for the next couple of years. All right, and I'll talk about why I think he's gonna outlast Gang Gang, and we'll talk about that in a few. But he came out early 2025. And if you remember, he came out kind of early because Subutai in the actual MGE, because it was a special event type deal, Subutai in the MGE did not come out until like March. It was weird. They were announced early, but it didn't come out till March. But you could get this guy really early. But he was on that cycle. Then we got Infantry. Well, guess who we got? We got BQ. When did he come out? He came out in May. There you go. AOE ass kicker. Let's go. Must max. Got to get this guy. And then we got the most broken commander of broken commanders. When we went from Cavalry, Infantry, and now Archers, we got Chin. AOE, off the charts, kill everybody, insane commander. He came out in late June, early July of 2025. Okay? So that was your AOE cycle of Arthur and BQ and Chin. And what do they all have in common? At least from this content creator, I said they're must-max commanders. If you're going to run the best of each troop type, got to have those guys. And when they came out, absolutely. And they're going to have longevity in the game. You're not going to have to worry about benching these guys anytime soon. Well, after Chin came out, okay, we then got into another round. Now, we did have some funny business go on in 2024 with Ragnar. You know, he was tied to a KVK, so he was kind of an extra commander, and he was an AOE infantry that gave us skill damage. And then the same thing happened in the fall of 2025 with Achilles, okay? Now, these commanders aren't necessarily must-max. Like, Ragnar was really, really good, and I advise people who are running a bunch of infantry, like, if you're running 2 or 3 infantry marches, when he came out, it was like, all right, you got to get him. But if you're only like one march, you're good. You can skip him. But with that being said, we got Achilles, but that is not part of the next gen commanders. These are KVK commanders, okay? The next gen commander that came out after Chin was our boy. Where is he? Where's my guy? Is he up here at the top? No, he's down here somewhere. He's got like a weird power structure because he's always so far down, and I don't know why. But let me go ahead and pull him up real quick. It is our boy Gang Gang, okay? Now, since we got Arthur, BQ, and Chin, it started the next generation of the 3 troop types, and it went from AOE to what now? Single target. Okay. Now, Gang Gang, who I think is really strong, but I have never said this guy is a must-max commander. Like, he's really good and really strong, but he's kind of a one-trick pony. Dude, y'all, must-max commanders, like if you think about it, the must-max commanders in this game are the commanders you can put with anybody, and they do really, really well. They carry marches, all right? Gang Gang does not carry marches. Gang Gang is kind of a one-trick pony. And the reason why I bring that up, I always lose this guy. Where's he at? Oh, well, we'll figure this thing out. But the reason why I say he's a one-trick pony is because he's got to have a big-time combo damage dealer behind him for him to be effective with his Starlight effect and his healing. Because his healing is really broken. It really is broken. Because he does this weird healing where he heals Sev wounds that can't be Sev wounds again. It's weird. Weird. But single target damage wasn't really a must-max commander. All right? After we got Cavalry, we got Infantry. And we were going to get a single target damage commander. Well, that's what we got in Sun Tzu. The only difference, and they kind of switched things up on us, is that they added an AOE effect to him with a rage generation coming, and he's kind of a weird single target damage. He's a nuker, but he benefits from AOE true damage. Not a ton of AOE damage, but it's plenty. It's technically still an AOE commander, but technically, to be honest, he's a single target damage commander. And after we got Sun Tzu, then who do we get? Archers next. Who's next? Alparslan. AA Ron. I affectionately like to call our boy AA Ron. Okay? And so anybody that knows Key and Peele, you guys get that. But from this standpoint, This guy is the same as Sun Tzu, that he's a single target nuker, right? Not even really a nuker, 2,000 damage factor, but he does pierce stacks, which do AOE damage. So he's kind of like Sun Tzu in a way, but the bottom line is he is not a must-max commander. So 5 out of the last 6 single target damage commanders we have said are not must-max commanders. This guy is not. If you're running 2 Archer marches, he's really good, and he's going to give you a really good upgrade for your second Archer march, but he's not a must-max commander, okay? So him, that's 1, all right? And when you come in here to Sun Tzu, this is the only guy we've said that you guys got to max this guy. He's just too strong and too powerful. But before him, there was Gang Gang, not a must-max commander. And then the other single target damage commander was the generation before, which was William Wallace with Shajar, all right, and Belisarius. So none of them were must-max commanders. So the single target damage commanders are not going to be must-max. And you know what that means for everybody right now? Because you don't necessarily have to max this guy, all right? You didn't have to max All Barzlin, and you didn't have to max Gang Gang, all right? So you should have some heads. Now, you might have had to put a bunch of heads into Sun Tzu, and you're finishing him up. But here's what's going to happen. Now that this generation of single target damage commanders is coming to an end and we're getting ready to get new ones, now they have released this guy, or I shouldn't say released. They have announced Vercingetorix, okay? Versi is what we'll call him, because everybody's butchering his name. It doesn't matter. So he's the next leadership commander. He'll be on the MGE, which is really weird because typically we get a garrison or rally on the MGE. But he's a buffing commander. All right, we've gone through his skills. You can check out my last 2 videos that I've done with this guy. And he's got some really good synergies, but he's not going to be applied to like the best single march for any troop type. He's not going to take the place of that. Now, he's got some versatility to maybe makeshift. You could put him in with cavalry to get maybe put in as one of the best 4 commanders in a 2-march setup for cavalry, maybe infantry. I don't know. We got to test this guy. But he's not going to be a must-max commander by any means. We are going to get the next round of generation, which will be cavalry starting it off like it always is. We are going to get we're going to be in the AOE generation. We're back to the AOE. This is the last AOE MGE next gen commander we got. That doesn't count Achilles. Achilles counts for KVK commanders. He wasn't a generation commander. All right. So from there, we're about to get AOE. And so just get ready, because this is coming, late summer? He's coming late summer after Versi comes out and that cycle goes through. We're going to get another cavalry commander that's going to be AOE combo. All right. And he's going to finally give cavalry players like 4 bona fide we call it next gen, 4 bona fide next gen pairings for cavalry. But that's only if you have Gang Gang. But getting another AOE combo commander will finally give cavalry what they need. And he's going to be crazy, or she's going to be crazy. Whoever it's going to be nuts. And so from there, just get ready, because after cavalry, what's coming? Infantry. And I know we just got Sun Tzu, and he was the one outlier of the last 6 single target damage commanders for all the troop types. He was the only one that we said was must max. But if we're getting the next generation, and the cavalry combo is going to be AOE, the infantry is going to be AOE. Now, I don't know if he's going to be crazy 5 target like these 2 cats here. I think more of a 3 target situation with infantry AOE. But get ready, because if he fits the bill or she fits the bill, whatever that infantry commander is going to be, it's probably going to happen in early fall of 2026. They got a chance to be a must-max commander. And then after infantry, we're going to get archers. And guys, I'm just telling you, after this dude came out, all right, the last 3 archer releases we've gotten Shajar, Chen, then this guy. Okay? And I think he's really good, like I said, but single target damage with the pierce effects that he does, I don't think he's must max. So just get ready, because after we get the next generation of cavalry AOE, infantry AOE, we're going to get a crazy archer AOE. Plus, they're planning on releasing another KVK in 2026. Now, nobody knows when that's going to be. Don't listen to anybody that says, oh, that's next month. But like they did for Ragnar and like they did for Achilles, okay, they've given us KVK specific commanders that have or have not been part of the meta. All right. Ragnar was maybe for just a little bit. Achilles is going to be for a while. Okay. So when the archers come, if you archer players, just get ready. You're going to load up because you're going to have Alp Arslan. Then you're going to have another KVK commander. Then you're going to have in late 2026, you're going to have the next generation of AOE archer commanders. So that's what we got to prepare for, guys. Like, I have been very, very careful because, guys, listen, I get excited and I overhype stuff all the time. But I'm very particular about saying this is a must-max commander or this is not a must-max commander. I wasn't talking about Philip. But like, this is a must-max commander. This is not a must-max commander. Okay? That's how it's been. This is a must-max commander. All right? This is not a must-max commander. And it generally is tied to single target damage versus AOE. And we know that we've just gone through an entire generation of cavalry, infantry, and archers that are single target. Okay, with the infantry being the exception of any sort of must-max commander. So we're getting ready to hit. Just get ready for it, guys. We're going to all get real excited about big-time AOE damage commanders for the next generation. It's coming late summer. It's going to continue into the fall. And then by the end of the year, we're going to have a cavalry, an infantry, and an archer AOE ass-kicker commander. And there's going to be a whole lot of must-maxes going around. And those of us idiots doing content creation is going to be like, is he a must-max? I don't know. Is she a must-max? Yeah. Like, listen, get ready. Because the odds that the next round of cavalry, infantry, and archers is must-max is going to be meta is very, very, very high. Cavalry, I would say almost with full certainty, 100%, the next commander is going to be a must-max commander, AOE, ass kicker. If you're running 2 cavalry marches, got to get him. Infantry, I would probably put at about a 60 or 70%. AOE, we're going to say, hey, he's meta, she's meta, must-max commander. But I only give a 60 or 70% because Sun Tzu was so powerful as a single target damage commander. Archers, yes. You're either getting one of the two. You're either getting a KVK story archer commander doing crazy AOE or the next generation of archer commander doing crazy AOE. So just get ready. It is almost a certainty that before the end of the year, we're going to have a cavalry commander that is meta. And we're going to have an archer commander that is absolute meta. Infantry, 60 to 70%. But that's just what you got to look forward to. All right? That's what you got to look forward to. If you're an infantry commander, if you're an infantry player and you haven't invested in the Sun Tzu, you got to do that. If you're an archer player and haven't got archer marches, haven't invested in Chin, you got to do that. If you're cavalry and haven't invested in Achilles, you got to do it. I know it sucks, but you got to do it. And then you have other commanders like Arthur, like Gang. Okay, Arthur is a must-max. I think even to this day, guys, he's going to last longer than Gang. You've heard me say that many, many times. He just, guys, here's what I mean, okay? When I say Arthur transcends, here's what's so funny. Because you can go back to my last video when it comes to Versi here. The two commanders we say he's got the best synergies with, because look at this. On his second skill, he's got a 20% chance to immediately reduce the troops' rage by 50. Cool down to 3 seconds. Okay, well, you got a proc there. That's an instant proc to reduce the target's rage. And then you look at his fourth skill, he's got an instant proc to put up a shield. Putting up a shield with this Versi guy does all kinds of crazy stuff. It gives you normal damage buffs. It gives you rage gain. It gives you all kinds of stuff. And this is my point. I think I can't make a clearer point to everybody, okay? And I'll go into it in the next video that I do. That when you look at this overall, all right, that is proof is in the pudding. The proof is there. They give us a commander like this, and the first 2 guys we talk about are Arthur and Luce. Arthur and Luce. Those are the first 2 guys we talk about. And why do we talk about them? Because they have instant proc synergies. And they're going to last in the game longer than their contemporaries, longer than their modern day guys. Arthur, I believe, will last longer than Gang. And then Luce, where's he at? Because of his expertise, He will last longer. Now, it's going to be a long time from now, but you're going to bench this guy before you bench Luce. I've been saying it for like a year, and I couldn't have any better. I could not have any better example of that than getting a new commander. And the first thing we look at is the fact that, oh, they got a 20% proc to reduce the range of the target. Oh, they got a 10% proc to throw out a shield that does all kinds of stuff. Well, who gives more procs than anybody? It's Arthur and Luce. That's my point. Okay, so when it comes to this, I'll go into more of a rant on another video for that, but this is what you got to look forward to in the future. Hope you guys got a little bit out of this. Get ready, because like I said, the biggest takeaway from this is that before the end of the year, it is almost 100% certainty that we are going to have a Cavalry meta commander you got to go max, and an Archer meta commander you got to go max. AOE crazy commanders. And then a high likelihood we're going to get an infantry one. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Throw a like on here. Also, please comment down in the comment section. We'll see about the giveaways. We might add that again soon, but just tell me you want it. Like, go down in the comment section, say, Chatsky, give us the giveaways again. The $10 flux every day was awesome. And with that, we hope you have a great day, broskies.